on my list.
Let's see if I say
I
that.
call this meeting to order of the Siloam Springs City Board of Directors. Roll call.
Blair.
Here.
Smiley.
Here.
Wiles.
Here.
Hunt.
Here.
Rissler.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
We will now have the prayer, if you would stand with me, by Director Blair, and then continue standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all our many blessings. Thank you for the opportunity for us to gather. Guide us in all the decisions we make and all the work we do today and every day for the citizens and for your glory. Watch over everybody out there with this bad weather season. Protect from the tornadoes, from the bad weather. Keep them safe. Thank you for all our many blessings. Help us to do your will and that our city be guided by you in every way.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business is for public input for anyone who wishes to address the Board of Directors on any item that is not a current agenda item or on the consent agenda. If so, come up and state your name and address at the podium. There's no one, so I will ask, is there anyone? If not, I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there anyone wishing to ask something be removed from the consent agenda? I wanted to ask some questions on letter D. Anyone else? Well, I'll remove D. Is there anything, any other questions or requests? All in favor of, well, roll call on consent agenda for everything on it except letter D.
Smiley.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Rissler.
Yes.
Wiles.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion passed. Letter D is the Siloam Springs Water Resource Company property proposed land sale. And we have the secretary from the state of Oklahoma here, as well as Secretary McQueen, as well as Mr. Ed Feit from GRDA, if there's any questions. The one question I had is on the contract that we were presented. And in fact, it says, I think, and I don't know if it was in our packet. Where did I put it? I have I think I'm going to read the letter from you, Secretary McQueen, because that was not in our packet, just so it's in the record. And we appreciate you being here, by the way. Thank you. Dear Mayor Nation and Administrator Gilbert, this letter will serve as confirmation of our intent to provide funds from the state of Oklahoma's natural resource damage account for the purchase of certain real property, more generally described as the Lake Francis Lake Bed Tracts in Adair County, Oklahoma. We acknowledge Siloam Springs' desire to reserve a portion of this property surrounding their water intake facility on the Illinois River. Our offer for these parcels is $2,250 per acre. As the state of Oklahoma's natural resource trustee, I approve and support the use of these NRDA funds and commit to their availability for this purchase from the Siloam Springs Water Resource Company. Our intent is to place these lands under a conservation easement for perpetual preservation as a natural wetlands area to improve water quality and flood protection. The subject lands will be held in fee simple title by Grand River Dam Authority. This approval is contingent upon SSWRC having marketable title to the property and receiving appropriate approvals from all parties. I appreciate the City of Silent Springs' willingness to engage in these discussions. I am happy to answer any questions. Sincerely, Ken McQueen, Secretary. Is it of Environment? Energy and Environment. Thank you, sir, for sending this, and I just wanted it to be for the public to know what we're discussing. The question I had on the contract, the only signatures on the contract are for GRDA. Is that normal? I mean, it says it's going to be held in fee simple title by GRDA, but it doesn't actually have a place for approval by the state of Oklahoma. Is there no need for that? I'm just curious. And this may be a question for Jay or Joel as well. Sorry, Joel. Jay's not here. Joel's here.
One of the things that we looked at when we were first discussing this a few months ago is the sale to the state of Oklahoma. When Secretary of Energy McQueen got with the Attorney General, and if I'm speaking for you, I'm incorrect, please correct me, sir. The state of Oklahoma cannot own the contract. So it would be an entity or an extension of the state of Oklahoma. Yep, so he's nodding at me, so I'm gonna let him kind of correct me.
Okay.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and directors. Actually, it's my office cannot hold title to property.
Okay.
GRDA is one of the departments that administratively fits under my executive oversight. And so, my first preference was for our office to hold title to the property, but we determined that that's not possible under our current statutes. So because GRDA currently holds the adjacent property, and because it makes sense for one entity to hold that entire property, we've asked GRDA to hold the title on behalf of the state of Oklahoma.
Okay, when you were here last time, I thought we had understood that it was going to be held by the state of Oklahoma, was why I was, so I understand how you researched it, yeah. The only thing, GRDA is not an actual government authority. It's like semi or quasi, is that right?
I think it's correct to describe it as a quasi-government authority, but it is an entity that's entirely under the control of the state of Oklahoma.
Okay. The one, and you got to understand, we just got this last week. I've been out of town. I just want to make sure there's nothing in this contract that gives authority for GRDA, state of Oklahoma, whoever, to now turn around and sell the property. That's my biggest concern.
Okay.
Is there anything in this, do we know, that covers that?
I'm going to defer that question to the
Okay.
attorneys.
Can you repeat the question?
Well, I'm just curious, in the contract, is there any paragraph that states the buyer will not be allowed to ever sell this property? Is it going to be held in perpetuity with the state of Oklahoma through GRDA?
I'm just looking through the title provisions in the contract. I don't recall there being anything to that. So here's what it says. Said special warranty deed shall include a deed restriction, providing that the land will be used for purposes of conservation, education, and wildlife purposes, and prohibiting other residential or commercial development of said property. So I don't believe that there is a provision preventing future alienation or sale of that property, but there is a perpetual conservation easement that's being reserved.
But the property could still be sold with the conservation easement.
That's my understanding.
I'm just wanting to make sure that this property stays with you, not you personally, but the state of Oklahoma and GRDA, and that 10 to 20 years down the road, a different government elected official decides that they don't need it anymore and decide to sell it. That's my concern, sir. So the shortness of us having gotten this just last week, I would like to make a motion to table it till the next board meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded to table. Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Carol?
No.
Allen,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Hunt,
No.
Wiles,
Yes.
Smiley,
No.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion passed, and my specific table was to the next board meeting. This is just too important to me to not have everyone know exactly word for word what's in a contract. Next agenda item, but I am thanking the two of you for being here. And as long as there's not anything just outstanding, I don't think it will be a problem, sir. Next agenda item is our ordinance 2412, the second reading, amending section 10221 of the city municipal code, rezoning from A1 to PD, the 3500 block of East Kenwood. Chris, do you need to brief the item or somebody else?
Okay. Kevin Moore, city engineer. This is the second reading for a rezone on Kenwood Street, and staff has not received any comments since the first reading.
Okay, is there any questions from the board? Are there any questions from the public? Motion, or I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2412 for its second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Smiley,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion passed. Next agenda item is ordinance 2413, amending section 10221 of the city municipal code, rezoning from A1 to R2, the 3500 block of East Kenwood.
Mayor, Vice
Yep.
Mayor, I have to read the ordinance.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right, on 2412, the previous
sir.
one, yep.
Ordinance number 24-12, an ordinance amending section 102-21 of the Siloam Springs Municipal Code, city zoning map, rezoning from A1 to PD, property located at 3500 block of East Kenwood Street.
Okay, now we move on to ordinance 2413, the second reading of amending section 10221 of the city municipal code, rezoning the 3500 block of East Kenwood from A1 to R2. Was there anything on that one?
No, sir. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Kevin Moore, city engineer. This is the same block of Kenwood Street, just another portion of the property with a different zoning designation, and staff has not received any questions or comments from the public on this ordinance.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there any questions or comments from the board? Is there any questions?
Yes, I
or
have a
com-
question, David, thank you.
Yeah.
Because this is on Kenwood, and because we've had other development going up on Kenwood and concerns initially with just the road, I just want to keep putting it out there that we are working on doing what we can to improve that road, but we're still working with Benton County because they have some of it. So, okay, just want to confirm that's all happening. Is the entrance to both of these developments, the planned development and the R2, from Kenwood?
That's correct. So the Planned development will be on Timothy Street, which currently dead ends on the north end of this property. And so it will have direct access to 412 as well. And then the residential subdivision, Timothy, will come around into the street that's proposed through the middle of the residence.
So either one of them will be able to get out either through Kenwood or Timothy and 412?
Correct.
Okay, so that can alleviate some of the extra traffic on Kenwood. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Anyone else? Is there any questions or comments from the public? I'll bring it back to the board. Do I hear a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2413?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Allen,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Bristler,
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Ordinance number 24-13, ordinance amending section 102-21 of the Salem Springs Municipal Code, city zoning map, rezoning from A1 to R2, property located at 3500 block of East Kenwood Street.
The next agenda item is ordinance 2414, putting the first reading for vacation of right-of-way of the 500 block of South College Street. Kevin, you are listed on this one.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Kevin Moore, City Engineer. I do have a presentation for this one, if we could get it up front. Thank you. This is for the 500 block of South College Street where Granite and College, or Granite turns north into College. It's currently an undeveloped lot. You can see here the portion of right-of-way to be vacated. There's currently a 60-foot right-of-way in that location, but no public improvements or public street. Staff is
Kevin,
supportive.
if I may, sorry to interrupt. We're under a tornado warning right now. One's been cited in Little Kansas. We'll keep to monitor that. If the conditions get bad, Chief Kendall, Fire Department will let us know, and we will orderly go downstairs. They'll show us down there. Just wanted to interrupt to let you know. Sorry,
Let's hope
Kevin.
it's moving slow, if there is one. Yeah, the storm in general, yeah. Thank you. Go ahead, Ken.
Thank you. Sorry. So this is a 60-foot right-of-way. There's currently no street, no public use of this location in the last 5 years, to staff's knowledge. Staff is supportive of this request to vacate, and you can see here on the original plat of that subdivision, the portion that we're vacating, and then here as an aerial, that same portion where Granite and College meet. Staff is available for any questions.
Thank you. Board, is there any questions?
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
forgot what your title was. I have to abstain. We own the property.
Any other questions from the board? Is there any questions from the public? I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2414 for its first reading.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Carroll,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Ordinance number 24-14, ordinance vacating and abandoning the right-of-way at the 500 block of South College Street.
Next agenda item is ordinance 2415, the first reading of amended section 2-144 of the city municipal code establishing duties and responsibilities of the Salem Springs Assistant City Clerk. And this has Alan Gilbert's name next to it.
What we're doing is, Board, is I'm looking to get approval from the board through ordinance to give Janae Fain the right to stamp in Renee's absence several days a week, and now she's consulting the other 2 days. I'm not comfortable with using her stamp without her being here, So I'm looking for your approval to grant Janae that authority.
Vice Mayor? Or can I ask?
Yep. You have a I was going to say, any board member have a question?
Can we, since it's an internal process, can we do all 3 readings? Since it's an internal process, can we do all 3 readings?
I was going to propose that and an emergency clause.
Oh,
That's why I was doing it as an emergency, where we could get it done quickly. It's an emergency ordinance for all 4 purposes. That's why I tried to get it to you as quick as possible, because we have things that we have to get stamped. But again, if that's the board's wishes, we can do that.
Any other questions about the ordinance? Any questions from the public? I will entertain a motion to place ordinance 2415 on its first, second, and third reading, amending section 2-144 of the city municipal code on duties and responsibilities of the assistant city clerk.
so moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call?
Blair,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Ordinance number 24-15, ordinance amending section 2-144 of the Siloam Springs Municipal Code, establishing the duties and responsibilities of the Siloam Springs Assistant Clerk, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 2415.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call?
Allen,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Motion passed. I will now entertain a motion to declare an emergency on ordinance 2415. We are declaring an emergency on ordinance 2415, so we don't wait 30 days. We need a motion and a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Smiley,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion passed. Next agenda item is oh, you didn't have anything further to say, did you? Okay. Is Resolution 25-24, the 2024 annexation ordinance authorization. And this has Mr. Ben Rhodes' name next to it. He's looking like, what? What's my name doing? The memo
My
is from,
apologies,
the
Vice Mayor.
memo
I'm
is
kinda
from Ben.
trying to watch the weather and watch these guys
Oh,
at
yeah.
the same time.
I was like, Ben, the memo is from you.
Indeed it is. Thank you. Yeah, we just weren't sure who was going to do the presentation on this, but I'd be happy to do so. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Can we get pulled up on the screens? Yes. As you all know, staff has responded to a board goal to pursue a large-scale annexation through a community-wide election. As you may recall, the board considered the annexation of a similar area last summer. However, that effort never moved forward past the ordinance stage due to overwhelming public opposition. City staff and the board members reviewed several options to regroup on annexation, and we have arrived with the proposal that's before you, that's on the map as well as on these 2 boards. The new area to be annexed in the orange shading encompasses 1,874 acres and 140 addresses, most of which are residential. The territory for consideration is primarily northeast of the city core, taking in areas that the city believes will develop in the future due to sustained population growth being experienced not only in Siloam Springs, but also throughout the Northwest Arkansas region. Involved with the project before it undergoes the final approval stages. This effort was centered around 3 key areas of outreach. The first was a town hall meeting that was held in this room on April 11th, attended by 59 individuals. This was an interactive meeting where attendees were able to learn about the annexation and ask questions of city staff and various members of different city departments were available at that meeting. The meeting attendees were also able to provide immediate feedback by placing push pins on a map showing their preference for the annexation. A copy of this map is also included with your packet. In addition to the town hall, staff hosted a roundtable on annexation on April 23rd. This was slightly different format. It was an open dialogue with 16 annexation stakeholders made up of county residents, city residents, representatives of city commissions and the chamber, as well as city staff, and a total of 29 attended the roundtable session. The final form of outreach was explanatory videos. Some of you may have seen those on social media, which just included also a survey. And the results of that, I believe you guys saw at the workshop that was presented a few weeks back now. One key question that we've received is who gets to ultimately decide on the annexation if approved. Under this method, the annexation will be a ballot initiative, so the city residents registered to vote in Siloam Springs, having a Siloam Springs address, will be eligible to vote. And the same goes for county residents registered to vote with an address, residential address being identified in the affected area. So to be clear on this point, landowners who live outside the area, while they may have an interest in the annexation, they're not eligible to vote merely by owning land in the affected territory. They must actually reside in that annexation area. And that is a state statute. That's not something that's being decided by city staff or city ordinance or anything like that. As far as the timeline, I think some of you have possibly seen this slide that shows the different points of where we are. I did neglect to put the check mark on the next to the May 14th. I did go to Planning Commission last week and was received approval from the commission. And so at this point, we're at the point where we're looking at a resolution before the board, and this will give staff the authority to move forward with an actual ordinance that would be presented to you in mid-June. So we wanted to give you sort of a decision point at this stage just to see whether we wanted to move forward or not with the annexation. So if the ordinance is approved, city staff will be given the green light to proceed with the formal ordinance, or excuse me, if the resolution is approved, we will have the green light to move forward. And this will be the instrument that will officially direct the Election Commission to place the matter on the 2024 general election ballot. And so recommendation is the board is asked whether or not to proceed with annexation. So just to be clear, vote yes will not approve the actual annexation. This is just to allow us to proceed with the ordinance that would then be the item that would be under approval later on in June and ending in July for 3 readings, 3 required readings. So this is just the resolution. And with that, staff and the Planning Commission are recommending approval, and we stand ready for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I had a question. Do you or anyone have any idea, what does it cost the city to put a ballot issue on? Is there a set amount? Just,
I'm not been made aware of a cost. There's a cost for a special election.
okay.
Definitely
just
a
to
cost
add
for that,
something
but
to
I
it.
don't believe there's a cost just to put something out if
the
there's a
regular.
general election.
Okay. I didn't know if the county or whoever charged something like they would on a special election. Yeah, the annexation timeline has been a huge help. And I'm glad you pointed out, Ben, that this is only to approve that the ordinance, it will be an ordinance? Yeah,
Yes.
over 3 readings, over 3 separate board meetings. This is not approving it, this is approving that we get the ordinance.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, And so it actually says the third reading would be July 16th.
Yes, that would be to allow enough time without emergency clause to get it done by mid-August, which is the cutoff for the election.
Okay, is there any questions or comments from the board on
Vice
the
Mayor.
annexation? Who, Betsy?
On the first page, which now I just lost it, on the first page in our board packet for the annexation, it says no fiscal impact expected. It's, in our board packet, it's page 75. It's the first page of the annexation stuff.
That would be, yes, okay, thank you for clarifying. That would be just for the passing the resolution doesn't have a fiscal impact.
Okay.
I would point out on the memo that went to the Planning Commission, the very last page, there is a second fiscal impact.
Yeah, page
It
80.
says it was the 5 million number, yeah.
Right. And so that is based on the Carroll Electric buyouts from last year. And so it's, according to this, it's not expected to exceed 5 million. Is that the only fiscal impact with this annexation? Is the Carroll Electric buyouts? Are there any other fiscal impacts?
There would be other fiscal impacts over on the long term. So for instance, the improvement of roads and extension of utilities and things of that nature as the city continues to grow out there, but that would be spread over many years. As the city continues to grow, we would take on responsibility of different areas. So it wouldn't be an initial impact, but it would be spread over a long time, like 20-year time horizon, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything new with the update as far as with Carroll Electric? I assume, we got an update a couple weeks ago.
That's something we're in negotiation still. Hopefully, we're getting in the final stages of that. I think Phil is actually in a meeting tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be able to give the board an update, hopefully in the next week or so.
Okay, thank you.
A lot of that, directors, with the territory that they're going to give and how what we're going to take over and different things that we would have to possibly purchase from Carroll.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Back to the board. Yes, Mr. Farmer.
Good evening. Jeff Farmer, 21923 Davidson Road,
Hi.
here in Siloam. I have something I want to read because I can't shoot from the hip very well with this, so. Some words I put together. I'll do better reading it than I would be trying to come up with it off the cuff. Now, if I understand right, the Planning Commission, the resolution or the recommendation by the Planning Commission is the actual working model of the boundaries of this new annexation. Is that right?
Are you asking the Planning Commission, what they do is they don't actually approve, they just let the motion to go forward to the board?
Recommends, but we have a working model of where the boundaries of the new city limits are projected to.
They're on that map right in front of you, on that easel. Yep. Yep.
What I wanted to say now that I know that, I have a list of my neighbors on Country Club Drive and Davidson Road who, in no uncertain terms, do not want to be annexed into the city of Siloam Springs, who live on the boundaries, on these boundaries right here, and others like myself who share a property line with those neighbors. And we kind of expect the Board of Directors to release any claim that to state of the annexing any kind of boundary properties who are not willing to be annexed. This list contains landowners' names, dates, addresses, parcel numbers, acreages, and signatures. Now, my neighbors have their own reasons for not being wanting to be annexed at this time. But as for me, my reasons are the negative reaction by city and county residents, as commented by the city administrator and some board members in previous annexation meetings and workshops, and the taxation burden of my real estate and personal taxes of this 5.5 mil increase that'll be put on me and my family. And just so that you kind of know, the increase of our annual Benton County tax bill goes up $320 a year. That's part of that is real estate, part of that is personal taxes. And that's kind of the way I kind of look at it, $320 to be in the city without really any guarantees of sewer or water, wastewater or sewer, anything like that. That just don't come out, it doesn't work in my head. And of course now, these aren't numbers that I'm just coming up with. These can be figured, you parcel map, find your data and figure it up for yourself when you go from 5.2 mils to 5.75 mils. And this is all something that you can figure up on your own. Any citizen can do. Well, not just any citizen, anybody who has access to a terminal can figure this out. Of course, I can and do claim a homestead credit and a frozen assets because frozen assessment because I'm 65, and that means there's a taxable value inside that little county data for Jeff Farmer, so that can be figured. The amount that I have to pay extra can be figured off of that figure. And I didn't just cook this up. I went to the Benton County assessor. She gave me the correct numbers to look for. I went to the Benton County clerk to check my arithmetic. So what I'm saying is not an estimate. It's fact. It's going to happen if it gets annexed. I think that's all I have to say. In conclusion, I just wish you guys would probably take our claims seriously, and I'd like to submit these to either the administrator or something, the people who do not want to be annexed that's in my neighborhood. Who would like that?
I'm sorry, what'd you ask?
I'd like to submit these forms I got for all the people that do not want to be annexed and have it kind of on the record. I don't know who to really give it to.
You can give it to our administrator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got, folks. Thank you.
Or give it to me, Jeff, whatever you prefer. You were on the round table, weren't you? I was. Yeah. The thing that everybody has to remember, every homeowner within the annexation area is able to vote if they wish this or don't wish this. Thank you, Jeff. Is there any other comments from the public? Anyone else? Back to the board. Any questions or comments? Roll call. And once again, this is only to put it as an ordinance in our future board meeting. This is not approving that the annexation go to the public. This is approving board in a future meeting.
I think we need a motion.
Pardon?
I think we need a motion.
Oh, we do. Is that what you were whispering?
So you're
about?
good at coming up with motion, so you say the motion and I'll say, so moved.
I would entertain a motion for Resolution 25-24.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Yes, sir.
On that, the motion states that you have a motion for that resolution. Can you clarify that that's a motion of approval?
Say that again?
The motion as stated, just as to a motion for the resolution. Can you clarify that that's a motion of approval?
Well, I will read what we have, that it's the 2024 annexation ordinance authorization.
All right, thank you.
Is that what you're talking about?
If you can just,
A motion to approve the
yeah, if
resolution.
you can just specify a motion to approve.
I need a motion to approve Resolution 2524, the 2024 annexation ordinance authorization.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Blair,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Wiles,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Rissler,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
And the next thing on the agenda is the administrator's report.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor. The only expenditure that I have to report is an expenditure for $146,832 for a Hennard Utility product for electric department. If you don't mind, I'd like Chief Miller just to come up and give you an update on one of our employees. Thanks, Chief.
Vice Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Scott Miller, Chief of Police. As many of you have been made aware, one of our officers, Officer Burnett, is in Children's Little Rock Hospital with his 13-year-old daughter and has been for the last 26 days now. His daughter is still in extreme condition, battling severe infection, and has had multiple surgeries from complications from previous illness that she has had that required some surgeries. And so they're still in need of our prayers. And we have also set up an account for any monetary donations that somebody would like to make with Grand Savings Bank. You can merely go to any one of their branches and just tell them that you would like to make a donation to the Bo and Amanda Burnett fund, and they will get that deposited to them. But she is not out of the woods yet, and so we're just continuing to support them and pray for them as she is continuing to fight through this. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
I just wanted Chief to come up talk about that because this is something that it started out a simple accident of falling on a volleyball during a game, and it's some things have happened in surgery, and she's fighting for her life the last few weeks. And this is nothing anyone has to do. I just thought it was the right thing to do. It's just for any child. And she's been in Little Rock, like Chief said, going on 3 or 4 weeks and been on a ventilator. And the infection or the fever came back the last couple of days. So most of all, just our prayers. Her name is Rylin Burnett. Amazing little girl, 13 years old. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. Moving on, this Friday will be our first Fourth Friday event and of the season. It's this Friday, May 24th. Grady Nichols will be the first band, starts at 6 p.m., and then Full House Band at 7:30. The pool opening ceremony will be this Saturday at 1 p.m. And then new to this year, Park and Recreation's Tuesday night pickleball. I'm learning to play this sport. It's a little more challenging than I thought. At 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Bob Henry through the month of September. There will be a children's pickleball camp also, June 18th to the 21st. You can also see our website for registration information. And a reminder that this coming Monday, May 27th, is Memorial Day, so city offices will be closed this coming Monday. With the storm season upon us, just the residents, just reminding residents, if they haven't already, just to get just so everybody knows we're all clear from the tornado warning now. It's thunderstorms. But again, to get these weather notifications and to help when our weather station stands up, if you haven't already, you can go to our website and register or log in to Code Red. It will show you how to do that, where you get that information. And then I just want to brag on sanitation a little bit. Just this year alone, I was looking at the numbers that Christina sent out, and this year already, we have tripled what we've done in recycling. Really great job to that staff. Also, we have moved mulch. We have moved mulch since we cleaned up on Sherry Whitlock. We moved the mulching machine to one location at the transfer station, and that is going, it's very popular, and we've been able to keep up with sales, and because, again, it's just working really well. So hats off to them. And that's all I have. And any financial updates, feel free to reach out to Christina. That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you. Alan, appreciate it. Director's reports. I will start with Mindy and go clockwise.
Just a couple of things. I want to thank Parks and Recreation for the pickleball courts. I wasn't able to be at the grand opening, but I heard it was quite the success, and I appreciate, I think it was Generations Bank that was there to make hot dogs, and it was a good time had by all, but every time I've driven by the pickleball courts, they have been full, including tonight, and I don't think the normal pickleballers were playing there tonight. It was a whole new group. So anyway, thank you. Looking forward to the Fourth Friday. I know everyone put a lot of work into that last year, and so excited that we're going to do it again this year. So thanks to all who have been involved with that. Congratulations, Jason, the sanitation department, for increasing the recycling efforts. And I wasn't here before to congratulate Dustin for your new role as interim fire chief. Thank you for taking that on, and thank those of you who came. And Jeff, you've spoken to us before. Thank you for speaking to us again. And for the rest of you for attending the meeting and just getting involved. Thank you.
Vice Mayor, if I may interrupt, I just want to give you guys an update too. My phone has been ringing off the hook with Brightspeed, and I get a lot of phone calls. I just want everyone to know I will be having a meeting with them next week. They are finishing up, but they still have a few weeks to go. But I will have a meeting and just trying to get communication better where residents know where they are. And they don't owe us explanations. It's really hard to hold them to that, but it's just some conversation I want to have with them because I get phone calls daily.
It's a common courtesy for them to meet with you and tell
Yeah.
you what all is updated.
And they have the right to be in easements and in right-of-ways and things like, I understand that, but it's things of jumping fences and throwing cigarette butts down and things like that are some of the calls I've gotten. So I'll have a conversation. They've been very good to work with, and again, they have crews working for them. My request to them is just communication needs to get better.
It's not good the squirrels get those cigarette butts. You don't like seeing them smoke. Ken, it's up to you next.
Just real quick, our departments work tirelessly, and I just want to say thank you. I know Parks and Rec is working very hard right now. Get the pool ready to open next week, the pickleball courts. There's just so many things that is going on that they are a part of. The report from Jason and his staff on how well they are doing, and that's just a small example. I think each department could come in and brag on themselves, and I think they should. But I just want to say thank you. We all appreciate that, and they're doing an excellent job, and that's all I have.
Betsy?
I wanted to say congratulations to Jordan Jackson. He's the new deputy fire chief. Is it interim or regular interim? Okay, thank you. So two awesome people, Dustin and Jordan. We're very lucky to have y'all. We have, in Siloam, we have a lot of charitable organizations who do a lot for the community, and they depend on help from the citizens. And one of them is the Adult Development Center, is struggling financially. So anybody who wants to donate to them, it would be greatly appreciated. They provide a great service in our community. If you haven't been by there, it'd be a good place to stop and do a tour and help them out. Also, the Genesis House, they are in need of diapers, sizes 5 and 6. So anybody out there want to pick up some extra diapers in sizes 5 and 6, the Genesis House could use them. And the animal shelter they could always use toys and blankets and towels and dog walkers and any help, treats, things like that. So that'll do it.
Thank you, Betsy. Lisa?
The first thing I want to talk about is the tennis courts. I've had a lot of people calling me because the pickleball has taken over the tennis courts. Where do they go and what hours can they operate? And can we post something about that so people are familiar with the transition? I think we focused a lot on the pickleball, which is great, but I've had a lot of tennis players
I
calling
will check
me.
on that for you, Director. I think what I remember is what we were going to do is with the new tennis courts at the school, we
Yeah,
were going to use
but what
them.
hours,
I
and what
need- I
about when
need
they're
to
in
get that.
school, they're behind gates? There was a lot of questions, I'm like, I have no idea. So I thought maybe if we could do some kind of a post.
I'll have Director Davis look into that tomorrow and get you an answer.
When I'm voting on the annexation, I've heard from a lot of the citizens in the county and a lot of citizens from within the city limits. And I want to be able to, when I say, yes, this can go to the ballot, I want to identify that I'm saying yes, that I want everybody to have a voice. And it's only fair that everybody has a voice. And so I just want to share that. As far as tabling as directors, I always want to give respect to directors when somebody asks to table, because I know there's times in my life, especially like when I was going through the stuff with my grandma, I could not get to everything as fast as, and so it's just out of respect that I don't care what director it is, I will give you the respect to table, because our lives are busy sometimes, and we can't control some of the things that happen in our life. I've been asked where we are at on the master street plan, and when will the public have input?
Master Street Plan, I had a meeting with Steve's on vacation this week, and we had a meeting last, goals discussion. Also, it'll be, because the plan, we'll be talking about streets we're going to be working on in 25, 26, 27, 28. So that's something we'll be bringing to you, hopefully not this next pre-agenda, but the pre-agenda after.
Okay, and when will the public have input, or are they not allowed out input?
I just don't know if, again, we know the street issues that we have because directors bring them to me, and then our workers are out every day, and we have them prioritized. I think we have, Chris, do you have input?
I just wanted to clarify, you're speaking about the Master Street Maintenance Plan? Or is
said
the
Master
question
Street
regarding the
Plan.
Master Street Classification Plan or the Master Street Maintenance Plan?
No, it's the
Class.
Master Street Plan.
Where we're classifying some of those streets.
Okay, so the classifications are through engineering. We're also working on that. We should have something, we don't have a specific date. We have started early discussions. I did have a meeting earlier this week with the city engineer to discuss getting a large printout and starting at the staff level to identify where the obvious portions of the reclassifications are. And I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But what we'll do from there is present something to Alan, and we may actually work with Alan and with the street department on those, on what their plans are for the maintenance portion of that whenever we're coming up with the master street plan update.
Okay.
The reason is, for example, Lake Francis Drive is slightly varying, and we still have some different callouts that are obvious that need to change. We can identify those based off of what has already been upgraded and what has already changed, and take a look at those corridors. And we're also looking at the county areas where it's more grid-based, and we're trying to come up with a better strategy on identifying what we would do outside of the city limits as far as our master street plan on that portion.
Lisa, I don't think you're talking about the classification, are you? You're talking about the streets that need to be redone or upgraded?
No,
or
how
are
they're
you-
classified. I've had engineers, developers, and surveyors, multiple, not just one or two,
On
multiple.
changing
can-
classification?
Yeah, because
Yes.
we've had some issues.
And I think that's
And
Well, the
so
maintenance
they
is
want to
what I
have
heard.
input, but so far they've never been allowed to have input. And they're, with the changes, we're saying we're an open government, we want to hear. And so they're saying, when do we get that?
And that's why I had chimed in, was I know that you and I have had those conversations semi-recently.
I'm still getting
about those,
calls.
so.
I still get people calling
Yes.
me and asking me, when are we ever going to have input? Because you guys say you guys have open communication, but open communication's a two-way communication and not just a one-way.
Absolutely, and what we try to start with is a draft, just to get that conversation starter. We'll provide the draft. We will try to get that to the city administrator as soon as we can get that first draft going forward, and we will have public input throughout that process before we do an item that goes to the board.
Okay.
Maybe some, if we decide to have a town hall where they can come and have input, you know, we can do that. You know, a lot of it comes down to the financial part of it, you know, what we can, you know,
Right.
do every year. We just had,
Sometimes they know something that we don't, though. A lot of, because they live it every day. They're out there every day.
Right,
And
'cause
so
the
we
things-
found that.
things come up, you know, like this year, we have tried to budget what we can get done, and we're on track to get everything that we budgeted this year. It's like something came to my
Well,
attention,
this
just,
isn't maintenance.
huh?
We're not talking about maintenance.
No, we're talking about you just
The
streets,
classification.
paving, the
Oh.
plan. Chris and I have had conversation. But when I'm talking about maintenance too, it's like something, a lot of people don't see the everyday, like we're having issues over by Allen Street where the kids, we don't have a crossing there because the kids are dragging their bikes under the culvert, which is dangerous. So that's something that, you know, we have to make sure we're getting done this year. So again, as Chris and I have conversations, I will bring this, and if we need a town hall to get their input, you know, that's something we can do.
Okay, thank you. And then today, CPKC, if anybody got to see that, it was awesome. I did post a video of it. It is pretty cool to see that it came through Siloam. It didn't stop in Siloam. It was going from Kansas City down to Louisiana. It's a neat experience to even get to see it on the tracks because of the age of it and the restorations and stuff. But I did post it on my page, on the Siloam Springs Citizens page, if anybody would like to see that. It's a neat experience to get to see that, so I wanted to share that. And I do have some things on Brightspeed that I need to meet on, because I'm still getting calls and complaints every day. So, that's it.
You're saying because of what they're doing? Okay. Thank you, Lisa. I also want to express our sadness for her being in the hospital, but certainly praying for Officer Burnett's daughter at the Arkansas Children's Hospital. The power of prayer works, and we need as many people in our community to be praying for Officer Burnett's daughter to have 100% healing. Grady Nichols is a great musician to be bringing for our first Fourth Friday. He's a hometown guy. If you knew him as he was growing up, you could see his progression. He was like our local version of Kenny G. Am I right? And he's gone on and become famous. So it's really amazing what all he's accomplished in his career. I wanted to echo a little of what Lisa said on the annexation. My vote is to allow it to come to this board for an ordinance. So just because I support this tonight does not mean that I think this is a great annexation. I still believe there is a better way to do annexation than what we are doing here. But I believe the public should have a vote and a say, and so this resolution tonight was to bring the ordinance to this board that would then be voted over 3 different ordinances to allow it to go to a ballot issue, which would be written by staff. And so that, I just want to make people aware that that is the background there. Congrats to Jordan Jackson. I've known him since he was a kid. He was on my baseball team when he was a kid. And he has had a great career at our fire department. I'm proud of him. Betsy, you brought up the Adult Development Center. I saw that change locations with Lori Lee and Lynn Stevens on the board and helping. And I hope they can find the necessary financing to keep operation. They provide a needed service to local community. Yeah, I want us to have a little more input on the, what I call the maintenance master street plan on what streets need upgraded, redone, whatever. Because I remember in the second year of being on this board again, that Mr. Patterson said that we had been very behind on our expenditures for streets. And I really would like to see more money being spent on streets. It's one of the biggest complaints of the public is streets and sidewalks besides our drainage. And so those two infrastructure items, I think, need to have more money put towards them. And that's all I have. Reed?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you to GRDA and for the state of Oklahoma for the gentleman that came tonight to represent. I appreciate them showing up today. Concerning annexation, I think there is a need for annexation, what we're doing, but that leads us to a proactive approach to what's happening when we look at the future, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. But there's a job in front of us to get this done. As a city, we have the job of providing a timeline of communication of benefit. And that is my hope that between now and the time that we vote, that we as a city are able to communicate, not just know within ourselves or within our groups, but to those who are affected by this. You can see that there is a timeline, like if you're looking for sewer, when's it going to get to you? That you'll have those answers. And it's not just the city making a land grab, but if we're going to annex something in, that we back that up and do what we say we're going to do, and not just have the land, but be able to bring the services to that in a timely manner. And I know that that's not next week or next month, but in a manner that says that, yeah, we're proactive with this. We're not just grabbing at things. But I do really appreciate the fact that it's going to be something that the whole city gets to vote on. And again, it's up to us to get that communicated. If we don't do our job, then we may not see a positive act in November toward annexation. But I am looking forward to that master sewer plan. I never thought I'd be excited about sewer, but I'm there. I know we're looking to get that as a possibility, but that'd be great to bring that into action. I'm looking forward to our first Fourth Friday. Those are just really neat. If you haven't been to a Fourth Friday, in my opinion, the one in May is one of the most exciting because the temperature's a little bit cooler. And for Grady Nichols, yeah, I've observed and watched him over the years to be a part of his saxophone playing. Yeah, I can see the Kenny G part, but not the hair. Everything but the hair.
Oh, he's much better looking than Kenny.
Anyway, but thank you, Vice Mayor.
Carol?
I want to offer my prayers to Officer Burnett and his daughter. I want all of us to remember those that have gone before us. That's what we're celebrating, memorializing on Monday. Listen to this that's going on, and I would encourage, if you don't have Code Red, that you sign up for Code Red to get notified of anything that is going on within the weather. And I agree with what Director Reed was saying about the annexation. We do need to, as a city, we have to continue to grow. If you don't grow, you die, in my opinion. And I know that a lot of people don't want annexation. They want to be considered out in the county. But there are reasons that we have to continue to grow. And with that, I move that we adjourn.
Has been moved that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, or all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Let me hit it.